Hi friends, my name is Jess and welcome back to my channel, Books Past Bedtime. Today I'm here with a tier ranking video, whether you want it or not. I actually did this last year and really enjoyed doing it, so I wanted to do it again. But pretty much I am just going to be tier ranking all of the books that I've read so far in 2021. Now I'm just doing January through June. It's already a little bit into July. I'm not including any books that I read in July because I want it to be like purely the books I read in the first half of the year. But that is what we're doing. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. I have read almost 50 books. I think there's 49 books in this video, which is a lot less than last year when I read like 92 by the midpoint of the year, but hopefully this video will still be fun and entertaining, so let's just jump right into it. Alright, so here's what we're working with. Hopefully the crop is alright. I'm not sure. I'm just winging it here, so we'll find out in post what it looks like, but this is what we're working with. I have 5 tiers here. First tier is a new fave, pretty self-explanatory, new favorite books that I've read this year. Second tier is loved it. This is a book I really enjoyed, might be 4 or 5 stars, something that I really liked, but just probably wouldn't consider a new like all-time favorite. Pretty good, also self-explanatory. This is like probably a little bit above average, maybe an average book. It was pretty good. Probably I'm not thinking about it too much more after I finished it. And then we have a meh tier, which is like books that I didn't really love. They were alright, maybe had a few redeeming qualities, but overall were not favorites at all. And then, last but not least, we have our Burn It tier, bringing that back from last year because, I don't know, I think it's kind of funny. Basically, this is just any book that was like absolutely horrible and offensive and just would be better off burned. So that's what we're working with. Let's just hop right into it. The books aren't in order of what I read them. They're just in whatever order the tier generator wanted to generate them in. So no rhyme or reason. Let's just do it. All right. So the first book we have here is Night Film by 𝗪𝘁𝗃. I think I'm going to put it in pretty good. I really liked this book a lot. I just kind of think that it was a little bit too long, and I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to put it in loved it. I really did like this one a lot. I liked the format. I thought it was cool. Thought it was unique. Thought it was a good story. It's like a thriller horror kind of book. So I'm going to put it in loved it. I really like that one. The Humans by Matt Haig. I actually think I'm going to put that one in loved it as well. This is a sci-fi, but it's a very like humorous book, and I actually thought it was very funny and had some like insightful, witty things to say about the human experience. So I really enjoyed that one more than I thought I was going to. Now, Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, I'm going to put in pretty good. I did really like this one. Thought it was a very fast-paced, well-done thriller, but I just could not get behind the ending. It bothered me so much, so it's going to go in pretty good for that reason. Kind of similar feelings about Confessions. I thought this was a really well done thriller, and I thought it was very unique and interesting, and I liked the writing, but I just kind of felt a little meh about some of the things in it. And I talked about this a lot in other videos, but I kind of felt like it weirdly handled HIV, so I'm not quite sure about that. But I'm gonna put that in pretty good because I overall did enjoy it, just wasn't a new favorite. Shutter Island, on the other hand, I think was kind of meh. Although, okay, this entire book I did not like, but the ending was really, really good. The ending of this book was so good that it blew me out of the water. It really just twisted my head around. So actually, I think the ending probably bumps it up to pretty good because it was pretty good. The ending made it a lot more solid than it would have been without that particular ending. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, I think was kind of meh. The movie that was released in 2019 was way better, and I think did like a more interesting take on the story. I think it's good in its bones, but it's a very long book and a very uninteresting book for most of it, and I don't know why you people like Laurie so much. He sucks. But I digress. Him by Serena Bowen, Nell Kennedy, I'm gonna put that in pretty good. It's just like a fun, fluffy book. There's not really anything to it, but for what it was good. Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchinson, I'm gonna put in meh. This one just kind of rubbed me the wrong way in certain aspects. Like, it was pretty good, had a really good concept, but I just didn't love the execution of it. Scythe by Neil Shusterman, I'm going to say I loved it. This is a YA dystopian series. It's very much beloved here on BookTube. I'm sure you've heard of it. And I really loved it. It wasn't a new favorite or anything because it's a little bit boring and low on the action, which I think it could use more of, but overall, good. Liked it a lot. Things We Lost in the Fire is like a horror short story anthology, and I really liked some stories and really disliked others and felt moderate about a lot of them, so I'm going to put it in the pretty good category. It's kind of hard to rank because like some stories were amazing, but some were like not great, so I'm going to put it dead center, pretty good. I'm gonna also put Scorpio Hates Virgo in pretty good. This is a male-male romance. I thought it was fun, I thought it was cute, but it didn't really do much more than that. I didn't need it to, but for that reason, it's going in pretty good. How to Walk Away by Catherine Center, I felt kind of meh about. This is another romance, and it just really didn't do anything for me, so I'm gonna put it in meh. The Simple Wild, on the other hand, I feel like I'm gonna put that one in pretty good. If we were just talking about the family aspects of The Simple Wild, I would put it in loved it or new fave. Like, family aspects were so well done, but at the end of the day, this is a romance, and I really did not love the romance. The main male character, the love interest in this book, he is very focused on looks and how Kala looks like with and without makeup, and he's very much like, you don't need to wear makeup, don't wear makeup, only prissy girls wear makeup. He's very much like, I don't know, not getting good vibes from him. He did not pass the vibe check, so, you know, it was alright. Alright, next is Hood Feminism. I'm gonna put this in loved it. I thought this was so well done. This is a nonfiction book about like how to make your feminism intersectional, which it definitely should be. If you are for women, you should be for all women, and that's what this book really talks about and touches on, and how Black women have been saying for years that white feminism does more harm than good, and our feminism should include everyone. So I thought this was a really well done book and really touches on everything. It's a very nice overview, so would definitely recommend. Think everyone should read that book. Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, I loved. I don't think it's my favorite Riley Sager, so that's why I'm putting it here and loved it, but I did really enjoy it. Set it as summer camp, and like, what better summer thriller than to be set at a summer camp? Like, that's amazing. I really loved it. The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ingram, I also loved. This is a contemporary YA, but it talks about space, so it's kind of like a cool balance of like sci-fi and contemporary. Really well done. Kay Ingram is like one of my favorite authors now. I loved this book. Pride, I think I'm gonna say it was pretty good. It was a little bit too short for my taste, but the audiobook was fire and is narrated by Elizabeth Acevedo, so definitely listen to that if you're interested. From Look Off with Love, I was actually surprised. I loved this one. This one might be my favorite romance of the year so far. Well, maybe like my second favorite, but I did really like this one. It's like an ice skating romance and it was very cute and I liked it a lot. The Wicked King is kind of, not gonna lie, a new fave. I loved it. The angst in this book is just what I need in a YA fantasy. It was like perfectly done. Honestly, very like smartly done as well. This book was just like so intelligent, and like the way the characters were developed and the way the plot progressed, and like every single word in this book was like plotted out and said for a reason, and I loved it. I thought it was so good. And Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lupina is gonna be pretty good. This is a very solid thriller. If you haven't read a lot of thrillers, it'd be a good place to start. Has that like isolated setting, the whodunit aspect. There's like a bunch of people trapped in this isolated hotel and you don't know who is killing people, but somebody is definitely killing people. I thought it was really well done. It just was like nothing that wowed me, and it was very like simplistic, which sometimes you need. I really liked it. Don't have very many complaints other than it was nothing like extraordinary. The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter pains me a little bit, but I'm also gonna put it in pretty good just because I thought the pacing was so weird. This is like a 600-page book and it takes place over the span of like 2 days, and like and it doesn't have a very good conclusion. Like, we harp on all this like stuff and lead up and build up, and then it just kind of like fizzles out and we don't really even get like a solid conclusion. Like, we don't see out the case that they're talking about. I just thought it was kind of weird. I don't know. The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta, I really loved that. Cute coming of age story, I really loved it. Touches on some very good topics. Lock Every Door by Riley Sager might be one of my favorite Riley Sagers. It's definitely a new favorite. I don't know if it's like an all-time favorite, but it's definitely a favorite. I really liked this book. It was so fast-paced, so fun. I loved it. It was really good. The Infinite Noise by Lauren Shippen, I also really loved, and I think I'm gonna put that one in new fave as well. It's about basically these kids with superpowers who go to therapy. It's great. It's fantastic. The Greatest Year by Kim Liggett. I'm gonna put that in meh. Wasn't a huge fan. It's like a YA dystopian, and I just think it could have been developed more, and I thought it went a weird direction. But it was okay, and I didn't hate it as much as some people seem to hate it, but I just felt meh about it. In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado is probably one of my favorite books of the year. I really enjoyed it. It's so good. It's a nonfiction about an abusive queer relationship, and just like the writing in it is so beautiful. It's so poetic and metaphorical. But this book is so good. I want everybody to read it. Get a Life, Chloe Brown, I thought was pretty good. I definitely liked the other books in the series more though. I really liked Chloe as a character, but I didn't like her love interest Red. I thought he infantilized her a lot and it made me uncomfy. So I wasn't the biggest fan of the romance, which is what this book is. It's a romance, so I only felt pretty good about it, you know. The Lovely War by 𝗙𝗵𝗻 I also thought was pretty good, but nothing like spectacular. I don't know. I really liked it when I read it. It was alright, but I don't find myself like reminiscing about it, you know. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 by 𝗭𝗍 Earnshaw I felt very meh about. Wasn't a huge fan. I just feel like it didn't really know what it wanted to be or what it wanted to do, and I don't think it was developed enough. All Boys Aren't Blue I really loved this book. This is a nonfiction coming of age story about George M. Johnson's life. Really good. I really liked it. The writing is immaculate, wonderful, very great read. The Queen of Nothing I also loved, but it is not a new favorite like The Wicked King because it just didn't have that same level of angst. There was no cliffhanger. I was glad that what happened in the end happened, but I liked The Wicked King so much because it just like blew my mind and I wanted to keep reading. Next is Disfigured, and this is a nonfiction book. I thought it was pretty good. It looks at disability through the lens of like Disney fairy tales and how disability is always seen as a bad thing and it's characteristic of villains in those movies. And I thought it was really well done and interspersed with like vignettes from Amanda's personal life, but I've recently like read some other reviews about it and I'm kind of mixed on how I feel about it, so I'm gonna put it in the pretty good category. Second First Impressions. I think I'm gonna put this one in loved it. I don't quite think it's a new favorite, and I don't think I liked it as much as I liked The Hating Game. I did really like it. I really liked the two main characters, but I think a little bit more could have been done. Very cute. I really liked it. Probably my favorite romance of the year so far, but not a new favorite. Credence by Penelope Douglas. I'm gonna put in meh. I don't quite think it's like burn it level bad, but it was pretty bad, but it's just like a me thing. Like it's not something that I am interested in. I just don't like the, what is the word? I can't think of the word, but the, I mean, it's erotica, it's steamy, but then like in a weird taboo way. That's what I was thinking of. It's a taboo erotic romance, and that's just not my thing, so it's going in the meh category. Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson was definitely a book that I loved. I thought that one was so good and so well done. I loved it. I thought it was excellent. When No One Is Watching I thought was pretty good. There were parts of it that I really liked, but I wish that it like leaned more into the paranoia aspect of things instead of like making this weird science fiction twist at the end. I just thought it was a little bit all over the place, so I didn't love it, but I did really enjoy it. I liked the writing, I liked the characters. There was just like a little bit of something off with it for me. Same with Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. I'm gonna put that in pretty good as well. It was a solid thriller, but it was nothing to write home about, and I thought some parts of it were pretty weird and pretty unbelievable, and I didn't like that the man got a redemption arc in the end, the freaking incel man. Excuse me, Lisa Jewell, what? Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour, I'm gonna put in loved it. That was so good, and I feel like people aren't reading deep enough into this because this book is like Midsummer, that movie where by the end the viewer is indoctrinated into the cult as much as Florence Pugh is, whatever her character's name is. Like at the end of the movie you're like, oh, she finally found somewhere that's like loving and accepting of her, that's great for her, but she's in a cult, in like a racist, awful, horrible cult. And oh my gosh, this is the same thing. Watch Over Me is the same thing. She gets indoctrinated into this cult and people are like, oh, well, good for her. She finally got accepted into the family. No, no, stop. But it's really good. I liked it a lot and I like it for that reason because I just think that's super interesting to like get into that psychology of what makes people join cults and what is like, what convinces people to. Oh, it was really good. The writing is excellent. It's very like sparse, beautiful. Really loved that one. I also really loved They Never Learn, which is a thriller about killing men. So right up my alley. I had multiple people specifically recommend it to me, which I love for myself. And I really loved it. It probably would be a new favorite, honestly, if I hadn't listened to the audiobook like with my mother. There's just some scenes in there that aren't the most fun to listen to with your mom. So I think that like a slight uncomfort factor that I felt while listening to this plays into it not being a new fave. Amazing, queer, misandrist, we love it. In a Holidays by Christina Lauren was a meh book. It was a fun holiday read, but nothing more than that, and it was very, I don't know, not great. Verona Comics, I'm gonna be I'm going to put in pretty good. I liked it, thought it did some good things, but overall it wasn't a new favorite or like anything that I felt like hadn't been done before, you know, so it's going in there. Take a hint, Dani Brown. Actually, this is my favorite romance of the year. I forgot that I read that this year. I loved Take a Hint, Dani Brown. That was definitely my favorite in the Brown Sisters trilogy. I thought it was so good. I loved Dani, related to her a lot, and I really loved Zaf. He was my favorite of the love interest. I just thought he was so sweet and caring, and I loved him. He was great, and I thought they had the best chemistry out of everyone. I loved it. I thought it was so good. I also really loved The Extraordinaries by T.J. Klune. This is another book that has kind of like a superhero element. These characters live in pretty much the contemporary world, but it's almost like an urban fantasy because superheroes are real, and our main character writes like superhero fanfiction, and he loves the superheroes in this world, so it's so cute. I don't know, it's just like a very fun, heartwarming romance. It's got like a little male-male romance in it. The friend group is great and super diverse, and I loved it. It was really good. Okay, we found our burn book, and that is The Searcher by Tana French. Burn it. It sucks. From Blood and Ash, I'm gonna put in meh. There were definitely parts of it that I liked. That was the like 2 or 3 steamy scenes, and the ending was good. Everything else was very boring, and I was not a fan. I thought The Project by Courtney Summers was pretty good. Actually, I'm gonna put it in I loved it. I liked it a lot more than other people did. I feel like it's a pretty unpopular opinion actually to like this book. It has very low Goodreads ratings, but I really liked it. I flew through it in a day, thought it was very engaging. I really loved the cult aspect. Yeah, it probably could have gone farther, and the ending I wish had been left ambiguous. I just think it would have been like a stronger, more interesting book if it had been, but overall I really liked it, thought it was great. Oh, found my second burn book. That is The X Talk. Burn it. I hated it so much. It made me so uncomfortable, and I hated both of the characters. So, burn it. Actor age Eve Brown. Excuse me. Actor age Eve Brown, I'm gonna put in loved it. I really loved Eve and the love interest whose name I can't remember. Jacob? Is that his name? And I thought they were super cute, and I loved their dynamic and thought it was a lot of fun. I just didn't quite love it as much as I loved Dani. Why am I dying? Okay. Didn't love it quite as much as Dani, but still really loved it, so it's going in that category, obviously. And last, and certainly least, not least, but it was kind of funny. Anyway, that is The People We Meet on Vacation. I am actually going to put that in the meh category because I was really not a huge fan, unfortunately. I don't know, didn't love it. Very concerned about Poppy's hygiene habits. She didn't shower a single time in that book, even though the main love interest, whatever his name is, showered like every 2 hours. And Poppy literally never showered, not a single time in the whole book. And she literally says, I'm more of a shower once a week kind of person in the text of the book. What? No, take a shower. But I digress. So here is the final product. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if there are any books that you disagree and would have put in like a different tier if you were doing this. I would love to know. And back to our messy space. Just ignore it. Let's actually... Alright, this is a little better angle to do my outro from, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you being here. That's pretty much it. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you want to keep up with me on the day-to-day. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!